Hey everyone, welcome to Watch It Paint It. In this episode of Ben opens a box. Ben tries to open a box. We're going to be looking at... That wasn't the best spin. We're going to be looking at Murder of Crowz. Now, I'm a little bit late to the party. This expansion for Zombicide has been around for a long time, but an awesome subscriber to Watch It Paint It, Molly Quinn, has designed this awesome looking crow, and I wanted in on that action. She made a Watch It Paint It specific version, and today we are sponsoring the video of opening this box, as well as you can imagine, this is going to be a prelude to painting up some black birds, which is going to be a tricky thing to paint, and we're going to experiment and see how we can cover that. But guys, if you like this hoodie, if you like this artwork, if you want to support the channel and other small creators such as Marley Quinn, please do check out the link in the description below and check out the cool merch which features this crow. Check it out, support the channel, etc, etc. Let's get this open and see what you actually get in the box and what we're going to go away and paint. Well, the first thing to do is cut this out of the cellophane. I always leave it in the cellophane. I'm not really sure why. I guess I just don't want people to think I've tampered with it and put some sausage rolls or some other random things inside that you might get confused with thinking it's for free. And then with that out of the way, guys, it's the exciting bit. Let's have a look at these burbs. Oh man, I just removed one reflective layer and we're presented with another, as often is with these Zombicides. They're all encased in multiple layers of plastic. Why do they always put the cards on top of the plastic? All that means for me is that when I stand this up, and these aren't wrapped anymore, they just fall out everywhere. It drives me nuts. Why is there two packs as well? Got some like bonus ones. We'll have a look in a minute, but let's start with the miniatures. They always tape these things. Right, and finally in. Let's move this out of the way and have a look what we get. So 15, it does say on the box actually 15 miniatures. Now, look at them. They're actually a lot better than I thought. I was expecting them to be really, really teeny tiny. They're quite big crows, aren't they? Especially given the size of the Zombicide character, which, do I have one to hand? I certainly do. So given the size of what a human is supposed to be in this game, isn't that to scale? They look absolutely massive, but maybe that's just me and I've not seen a real life crow. Finally got some of these in my hand though. You know what they say, a burb in the hand is worth two in the box. I'm glad to finally have them. These are exactly the same sculpt, but they're a bit better than I was expecting. You can see they've got claws, so they've got that sort of detail, little beaks going on. They've got eyes as well, and then a bunch of feathers. So for a Zombicide game, I'd say that's not a bad sculpt at all. I'm pretty excited to go and paint these. So these are exactly the same. Are they all the same sculpt? Let me just quickly work that out. Well, guys, I'm not going to lie, that is a little bit disappointing. They are all 15 are the exact same sculpt. Now, that might make it a little bit easier to paint and a little bit faster, so maybe I shouldn't complain too soon. But given they're just crows and they're going to be basically black all over, just going to really work on a video to try and show them in the best light we can, I think it's just a bit sad, isn't it, that they all look exactly the same, because they're going to look exactly the same anyway, unless we paint white crows and stuff like that. It's bonkers, isn't it? They'll be all the same looking, but they are decent sculpts, a lot better than I expected. They're actually going to take up a fair space on the board, aren't they, to add to the pile of horde zombies running around. Anyway, let's have a look at what we get in the cards. Pop these out. We are going to get a bunch of different languages. Wow, these are all the same. So I guess this is Murder of Crowz in some language. Stormo di Covimoti. I'm good with different languages, as you can tell. So this is another language, and this is another language. This is a lot of cards, isn't it, to say you probably only want one of these. But here we go. That's another thing, guys, if you're unfamiliar with this. If somebody else already owns this set and you don't mind the language not being English, you can borrow, take, have the other language cards, so these can represent them in your Zombicide game, and then get some proxies. I'm sure we can buy cheaper crows. This was quite expensive. If you don't buy it during the Kickstarter, then it's fairly expensive. But there's the English ones. That's what we need. Just realize these are the backs for Black Plague, aren't they? So this is the fantasy version of Zombicide, which is actually the one I play. Do they give you the non-ones? No. I'm sure it's different in modern, isn't it, the back? So I can't actually use these in the modern Zombicide, so do bear that in mind. Unless I'm mistaken, I'll have to go and look at the back of Zombicide cards. But unless I'm mistaken, you can only play these in the fantasy version, even though I'm sure they did like an extra card set, but maybe that was with the Kickstarter. So this just looks like another language, so they must have just added an additional language later on. So you get this many non-English cards, which is great if you don't speak English. Or, like I said, you can give these away, put them on eBay or whatever, and then somebody else could proxy the miniatures and maybe get some cheaper Crowz if they care. But yeah, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards with Crowz on, and the base layers 2 Crowz on every single. Are they the same? They're the same. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not much interest, is it? So there's no variation in what's going to appear in the game. On blue, you'll get 2. On yellow, you get 3. On orange, you'll get 4. And on red, you will get 5. Oh, let's have a look at the rules in case you're unfamiliar with them. Again, you're going to get a bunch of different languages, but I can only read English, so this is it. You'll get a bit of fluff about the Crowz if you're interested in fluff. And then you're going to get a new targeting priority. So once again, these Crowz slip under... No, they're above. They're above. I was going to misread that. These actually target first, so you hit these before walkers, which means you can hit them before fatties. That's right, isn't it? I'm reading this right, I better be. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty much these get hit first, these get hit second, and then you can't shoot runners behind fatties. Pretty standard. And then let's have a look at the special rules. So these guys move up to 3 zones per activation, so they're like runners and 50%, aren't they? A little bit of a bonus. They ignore vaults and they open or not. This is interesting, isn't it? You set the target before they move because obviously line of sight is going to change as they go around corners and stuff, but they make up their mind before they set off. Splitting still happens, but no additional splitting can occur during their movement. As I said, they pick their fight first and off they go. And they only get 1 activation, so they either move or attack, unlike runners which get double activations, don't they? These just move 3 per activation. And they ignore all closed doors, ramparts and walls, so basically it's like they're flying over the building or through windows and things like that, so they just get straight to you. Very interesting. 1 damage, and they give you 1 XP as well. So they're like a bit like pumped up psycho versions of the runners, but it's going to add a little bit of variation to the game. I'm pretty excited to get them painted and played. Let me go and paint one up, and I'll show you what it's going to look like in this video, but I'll do a tutorial on painting it completely separate. I might paint them in a bunch of different ways, hopefully being able to sort of address any sort of paint combination you may have in the tutorial. I won't do that now, just going to give you an example of what they can look like. But
that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for the painting tutorial. Bye!
please do check that out in the link description, linky thing below, linky thing. Check that out. Do it. Help me. So if you fancy supporting the channel or awesome creators, so if you fancy supporting the channel or of another small creator. Oh my god.
Yeah, that wasn't good.